Konnichiwa.
Howdy, y'all.
I'm Leslie.
I'm Laurie. Welcome to
Sumo Kaboom, where we talk about all things sumo.
That is right. The Basho has begun. We are going to be breaking down our favorite moments of days 1 through 3 of the sweltering hot July Basho, which is already loads of fun. I'm enjoying it, and I imagine all of you are as well. But before we get into Basho stuff, I just want to remind you that we have a bingo game going on. We have 85 cards left, so you have a chance to snag one. You can go to our website, Sumo Kaboom, look for the tab that says bingo, join in, or you can go to our socials to find the links to the pages. It's a super fun way to follow the tournament. If you get the first bingo, kachikoshi or makikoshi, you get a prize.
That's right. And that prize is my homemade jam. And we're at the height of jamming season, even though I haven't made jam. I do have some orange marmalade. Is that what I don't know. I feel like I'm going to make some more peach vanilla bourbon jam, which was
nice.
That was a big favorite of some of our past winners. So it is peach season here in Texas. So
and they're great.
And it's
Peaches are so good.
Peaches are so good. So I feel like that
peach
that could be your win.
Sounds delicious. Not only do you win Leslie's amazing jam, you could also win an opportunity to buy yourself some more merch. BigSumoFan.com has been just a wonderful partner in this bingo game since the beginning. They are lovely, and they are your spot for sumo merch, especially if you live in the U.S. It's just so easy to get all the things that you want, your towels, your banzuke, your star charts, your buttons, your stickers, whatever you want. You will get a chance to go to the store with some gift certificates and buy yourself whatever you want, and it'll just be shipped right to you.
Yeah, we just got an email of somebody who took a beautiful picture of their wall, and it had, I think, banzuke on there and some other things from Big Sumo fans. So they shared that, and it was awesome. I was like, this is a really nice sumo wall.
Right?
It's like art and sumo. It looks very classy. I was very impressed.
Oh, nice.
So you can decorate your home with all types of banzuke and other prizes from Big Sumo Fan.
I also just wanted to say thank you.
Or just splatter a bunch of my jam on your wall. And that's also like a really avant-garde kind of
very
approach to art.
You could also just lick it off the walls too, and then double your pleasure.
And it's just an event.
That's right. I also want to thank Peter, who sent us this lovely note. He said, I am committing to monthly. He's become a monthly donor.
Aww.
And he said, I have enjoyed the Oyakata series. Thank you for bringing a cool perspective for English-speaking fans, your research, and bingo. Happy Basho, Peter. Just thank you. Thank you. You're the best.
That's so nice.
Yeah, just, you guys amaze us. That's all I want to say. You amaze us. You're amazing people. And you make it so much easier to come to the mic every week.
That's right.
Thank you.
Shall we jump to a news flash?
Yes, let's.
Well, I don't know if you've heard it because I've been talking a lot about it. This Basho is the last sumo tournament that is going to be held in this current space in Nagoya. They are building a state-of-the-art stadium, which is like just kind of like a stone's throw from the Aichi Prefecture Gymnasium, which is not the sexiest name, I have to admit.
Okay.
But next year, the very first event that will be held at the new stadium is the sumo tournament. Supposedly.
Okay, if it all goes as
right,
planned.
But
are they building it right now?
Yeah, they're building it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. You can see the construction.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Gosh, I hope it comes together for the sumo tournament.
I hope so. But if it's construction like anywhere else in the world, sorry to all of our construction listeners. Y'all have a different timetable. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be there in 2027 or when it's finally finished or has electricity or something. But anyway, so
maybe they'll add air conditioning.
Maybe. So yeah, like right now they have like ice blocks, that they put fans behind and try to keep people cool. But it's a deal there in steamy Nagoya. So I guess this is good news, but it will definitely have a different vibe because it's going to be larger, has a different layout. It shall be more cush. But I think a lot of people seem to be really kind of sad. They like the spirit of this extremely hot Nagoya Basho, and there's something about it that they like everything that it is.
I get that as someone, who likes to take the hard road.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something Yeah, you get something more when you have to
Suffer through something?
Yeah, when you have to sweat your ass off to watch sumo, but you're closer and it feels, I don't know, a little bit more
real.
homemade.
Yeah.
And like, this is what it's really about.
Yeah, I agree.
I get that. I would dig it.
Beloved commentator Kitano Fuji was recently seen there watching sumo, I think, or if he wasn't, he was seen looking healthy. So I think the weird thing, the
Someone
reason why
walked by that looked like him and looked really healthy.
No, it was, but the picture I saw was like this photo was taken in 2020. So I was like, I think it's a picture of Kitano Fuji from 2020, but it's somebody who's like, the reporters were like, he's been seen, he's not commentating, but he's active and he's healthy after a year and a half of absence, basically. So he seems to be back. So I don't know, that's cool. You know, hopefully he'll be back on the commentating side because he's brutal. But I mean, he's a really great commentator for the Japanese side. So he's back.
He's the Simon Cowell of the commentators.
Exactly. As far as some really fun stuff that happens in Nagoya is that Oda Nobunaga was seen in the second row.
Okay, who is that?
Do you remember we did a whole episode on Oda Nobunaga? So in Nagoya, this is the tournament where the samurai come to watch sumo. So apparently each day there's like an ancient figure. It's like a cosplay person who is dressed up as like Oda Nobunaga, who was like a major daimyo, I think, and like warlord and samurai. And so each day there's a guy in costume and you can see him like in the slow-mos. You're like, oh, everyone looks normal. And wait. There's a samurai. Like? Well, they're dressed differently. So each day it's a different samurai from the past that's coming to watch the tournament. It's like, where's Waldo? But they're down in the sand seats. Okay. So you can see him and he's in his whole he's not in
Are they in
armor.
Black? Like all I picture is like what kids dress up as a black ninja at Halloween.
Well, ninja's different samurai.
Exactly.
Samurai would be he's not wearing his armor or anything. He's just wearing his tradition. Didn't you see what's
Demon Kaka?
No,
that's what I'm picturing.
It's about that extreme.
Okay.
What's the recent show I watched? Shogun. Oh, yeah, Shogun. He looks like he's straight out of Shogun.
Oh, okay, thank you. That helps.
Yeah.
But I was completely picturing the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's not like the guy with the hat and like the armor and stuff. No, but it's like his daywear, samurai daywear.
Samurai daywear.
Yeah, of ye old days. So, but it's a new samurai apparently each day.
Oh.
So the picture of the second guy in the different day was like a different samurai.
How have I not noticed this?
Well, you have to keep up with it.
3 days in.
I know.
And I've not noticed this.
There's like a picture of Shodai wrestling, and then you see him in the background, and he's like his mouth is agape. He's like, oh, but it's him in a samurai costume, so it's kind of delightful.
Okay,
but it's
send
actually
me these pictures, y'all. I have not seen these.
You can see it. Just Google Oda Nobunaga at Nagoya Basho. But it's actually the tourism industry representative from like the Nagoya.
This is brilliant.
Yeah.
In action.
And they send basically a cosplayer like every day.
I love this.
Isn't that kind of fun?
How do I sign up to be this person?
Well,
I'm sure they would not let
because
me.
A, you're a woman, and B, you're not Japanese, nor are you somebody who works for
Were there not female?
No.
Oh.
I'm sure there was somebody kind of like Mulan style who was like...
had to cut her hair off?
Yeah. Where did I read in my research that
But
there
he was the best archer of the bunch?
that there was like a woman in disguise.
There's got to be a
there
good
is.
story.
There is throughout all history. There's always like one warrior woman who's like, I'm masquerading as a guy here, but I'm just a super badass archer, and I want to sign up to avenge my father or something.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's something fun to look at for all of you watching TV. See if you can sneak a peek at the Nagoya Hospitality Samurai Corps representative.
Cool. I will look for that.
As far as wrestlers that are out day 1, 2, and 3, you may have noticed our beloved Takeru Fuji is out. His master said it's a no-go until maybe halfway through he can reevaluate. Takeru Fuji says he would like to compete. I sense he probably won't. I mean, he's so far down now.
He's in Juryo now.
Yeah, but like he'll bump out a rank. Personally, I think like take the time off, get yourself healthy again, do the Wakataka Kage route, go all the way down, and then heal yourself as you're coming back up, and then crush it when you finally end up back in Makuuchi. Chiyoshoma's out. I don't know why, just basically maybe too many henkas. I'm sure there's a real reason, but Enho, this is a really sweet thing. Enho has not returned to sumo in over 7 tournaments. It's like 420 days. Well, he's now in Jonokuchi. He's at Jonokuchi like 13 or something. And at like 9:30 in the morning, not many people are at the tournament. Well, he has so many fans that like 500 people like came in early to see him compete.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome with their with their
Endo fans?
Their towels, and they were all yelling nonstop, Enho, Enho, Enho. Yeah. So that's exciting. He's back. I think he lost that first day, but you know what? No one says it's going to be easy. But there's a lot of really interesting articles on him being interviewed about coming back, because with his severe injury, I mean, he literally says, I'm risking my life with this cervical injury.
I think everyone around him is saying, don't do it.
Yeah, but he was told kind of by Ted Inafuji and his coach, like, don't do it. You know, your heart's not in it anyway. And he's like, if you're going to do this, then there's no way to do it unless putting your full heart back into training and really doing it. And so after he kind of hung out there in this kind of malaise, if you will, he decided to start training seriously again. So he's had a win, I think, down there. He has 7 matches in Jonokuchi. So we'll see. But I think he's like 1 tournament short of the 30 that he needs for, I don't know, to be able to, I don't know, stay in the, I don't know, I'm sure for future purposes, for retirement purposes, there's a reason he's doing this. But every day he risks his life fighting. So there's that. But let's wish him well. And I just wanted to also note, when I heard Daisho do a little bit of an interview, I've always thought he has a deep voice. But I am now calling him the Barry White of sumo.
親方の大将山関の大将をいただいて、あとは僕は出身高校は埼玉栄高校なので、埼玉栄高校の山田先生とも相談した
Just
境
put
の文字を
some sweet cymbals and some chimes and some sexy bass in the background, and call me crazy, he is the Japanese Barry White.
親方の大将山関の大将をいただいて、あとは僕は出身高校は埼玉栄高校なので、埼玉栄高校の山田先生とも相談した境の文字をいただきました。
Does it have the same effect?
Yes.
That's really
That's the thing. It's like a low, like I was listening to one of his interviews and I was like, I feel like if we put some sexy music under this, it would read exactly the same as a Barry White monologue.
I mean, it has to have the pelvic resonance.
It does.
That Barry White has.
It does, especially after he fights. There's something, and he's
really
sweaty.
Gets even lower?
It's sweaty, and he's like
it's
super
the
low.
Sweat. It is the sweat. Or it might just be like the small mouth and like
it's very reserved.
Extremely reserved and
well, that's what Barry White would do. It'd just kind of be understated, you know, and sexy, like bedroom talk.
Yeah.
And so anyway, if you happen to get lucky and hear Daisho do some post-bout interviews, just put a little sexy music under it and let me know what you think.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
You ready to jump in? Days 1 through 3.
Okay, follow me here for a second.
Okay.
I jumped into day 1 of sumo immediately after binge watching America's Sweethearts, which is the reality TV show about the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders and all the women that try out for the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders. And so sumo hit me in a real different way because those two sports are actually more similar than you would think.
Yes.
They're both about athleticism, high kicks, and hair.
Well, and showing a lot of your ass.
Well,
or
sumo wrestlers.
Your body's on display. Let's put it that way.
Your body is on display.
Yeah.
Yes. And the ways that you need your body to look are very different from sport to sport, but all I kept thinking about on day one is how similar sumo is
It's to cheerleading?
to cheerleading.
This must be the new version because I watched the old version from like 7 years ago where the coaches were like, oh, you're too fat. And that does not play well today.
Oh,
they can say you have to look good in the uniform. But I mean, 7 or 8 years ago, they were saying awful things to these poor women. Awful things.
Well, it's definitely
changed?
still cringeworthy. That is why I love it so much, because it is just as much like kick-ass as it is cringeworthy.
Right.
And
At least in sumo, no one cares about your size. They're like, you are beautiful as you are. Use it to your advantage.
yeah, but there are still some things about sumo that are cringeworthy too. Like the right kind of fall is like cringeworthy,
Yeah.
absolutely cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Or like a good head bonk is just as cringeworthy as them saying, your stomach, you just gotta flatten your stomach.
Right. And you're like, is it about my skill level or my stomach here?
Or, yeah, the reason women are getting cut is because of how they apply their makeup. Like, that doesn't really apply to sumo.
No, that doesn't.
But
that's why
tell
I couldn't stop. I couldn't watch that show anymore. I mean, at the beginning, I loved it. And then I was like, oh no, this is awful.
But they both have this sort of like combination of like spirituality and athleticism. Like in the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders,
is
it's all Christianity.
Oh, this must be the new version.
This is the new version.
They have taken a turn because the old version was brutal. Brutal.
But tell me this would not be an improvement on sumo. The whole, the apron showing, the keshimawashi.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me it would not be an improvement to have the song Thunderstruck playing.
What's Thunderstruck? Oh, you can't play it.
Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
It's the song that the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders always come out to at halftime, and they run out and they do their famous like jump kick line to it.
Okay, so anyone who's listening internationally, if you aren't aware of who the Dallas Cowboys are, well, we were raised in the cult of Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, it's football
fandom,
team.
And we have the
world
most
famous
cheerleaders.
Yes.
Our cheerleaders had the skimpiest, sexiest costumes from
They
day
still do.
one.
Yeah, they
and
still do.
no one can compete with they have like go-go boots and then like little
They
short
are cowboy boots.
Yeah, well, go ahead and look it up. Google it yourself. Tell us that it is the sexiest costume out there as far as cheerleaders go.
So their entrance at halftime is they run out to the song Thunder. Thunder is the famous Thunderstruck song. And they do all this dancing, and then they do this amazing jump kick to end it. And
like a cooter smash.
Yeah, and the whole audience goes, ooh! But tell me these boys could not do the most amazing jump split ever. They could. And if they all came out in their aprons and just walked around to Thunderstruck and then ended that with
a cooter smash.
Tell me that would not be fun.
Well, they could actually do that because they're all so flexible. It would be a straddle, and I would still get nervous watching any sort of cooter smash. If you're also not aware of what a cooter smash is, cooter is a uniquely, possibly southern slang word for your front bottom.
I love that you had to explain that.
Well, there might be somebody in Oslo who's like, what is kuta?
Kuta smash?
What is the smashing of a kuta? And I'm sure you have your own version. But it is unique to...
It's a fanny smash.
Yes, for our UK listeners.
Yes, it would be a fanny smash.
But here we call it cooter smash.
Okay,
anyway, on to
sumo. So,
sumo.
Yeah, I was watching sumo from a different point of view on day one, but absolutely loving the return of the sumo. The first match I want to mention, Wakataka Kage versus Takara Fuji. It's the first time we've seen Wakataka Kage back. What do you think?
Oh, I'm just delighted to see his very serious face.
Me too.
I mean, I don't care how he does. I'm just glad he's back. And overall, I mean, yeah, not everybody's going to ace it first time out of the gate, but he, to me, we'll talk about it, looks like second day, he looks very much like old school Wakataka Kage. So overall, his form is looking really good.
Yeah. As we say in Texas, this is probably not a PC term anymore, but we say someone came out guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
And that's what he did on day one. He came out guns a-blazing, like ready to take on the world. So much so that it was a little too much, and Takara Fuji was able to just break Wakataka Kage. Ooh, I'm out of practice saying his name.
Wakataka Kage.
Wakataka Kage's balance. So Takara Fuji walked away with a win on day one. However, Wakataka Kage showed that he's like lower than I remember. He's bending his knees even more than I remembered. He's stable and he's strong, and yeah, that serious face is back, and I love it. And it's just so
serious.
nice. So nice to see him back.
Serious.
I also want to mention on day one, Asanoyama is wearing a beautiful new green washi.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And once he got both arms inside on Nishikiki, he threw a strong beltless arm throw that was beautiful indeed. I loved it. So Asanoyama looking strong. I'm going to skip all the way on day one to Onosho versus Ura, which, in my opinion, was worth the price of admission. Onosho was running forwards, Ura running backwards, spinning in a circle, spinning on one leg, driven to the edge at least 3 different times. And then Ura hit a slap down that was just so perfectly timed and sent Onosho all the way down, and I loved it. I just absolutely loved it. On the not love side, Takayasu versus Kirishima. Now, Kirishima has, as we've discussed, he has fallen out of his rank of Ozeki. He needs 10 wins to jump back to that Ozeki rank. Has not looked strong in the last 2 Basho. So this was a real question mark. We've heard that he's feeling better. And I will say, it does look like he's feeling a lot better.
Yeah.
This fight between these two men, it was very back and forth. They look evenly matched. It was very energetic. It had that sort of day one sumo feel. And at the end, Takayasu just simply gave up and was holding his stomach at the end of the match. I don't know why. Nobody really knew what happened. It was as if he just stopped in the middle of the dojo and then stepped out.
Yeah.
And you could tell he was not feeling right. Now, we did find out, I'm sure you'll talk about what that issue was, but at the end of day one, we didn't know, and Kirishima walked away with that win.
Yeah, it was weird. We were like, oh, he injured himself.
Yeah.
Whatever happened.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I got, too. I was like, something is off. Either that's major indigestion, maybe he has GERD. I don't know. That was weird. Onosato met Mitakeyumi on day one, and no one has more expectations placed on him right now than Onosato, whose photo, let's just talk about his photo. His sumo photo, I would
not have chosen that one.
I would have asked, can you demand a reshoot?
Yeah,
I would think you could demand a reshoot. Maybe you don't in the sumo world. But in the cheerleading world, photos are everything.
No, you'd have to have.
You would have multiple reshoots of that one.
Yeah.
Because his eyes look a little off. It looks a little Manson-esque.
He looks like a serial killer.
Yeah, he does. He looks like Charles Manson.
And he's so sweet otherwise. So I don't know why that one, they were like, yep, this is the one.
This is the one. This is the one. Okay. So he took on Mitakeyumi, and Mitakeyumi, wow, came in like a bulldozer, surprised us all. Onosato never even got a belt grip on that guy because Mitakeyumi blocked him at every single angle. Mitakeyumi walked away with that win. I was surprised by this one. I was surprised that Mitakeyumi was able to do that. But good on ya.
Right.
Good on ya. Abi versus Wakamoto Haru. I'm going to mention this just quickly, because Wakamoto Haru was able to sort of hold on against Abi's neck thrusts and then finished Abi off solidly. I mention it simply because of the amazingly best hair flip I've seen in a long time that Wakamoto Haru did as he turned around and walked back to his spot.
That's right.
A good hair flip is worth mentioning, just like the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to mention 2 of the last 3 fights of the day, Atami Fuji versus Hoshoryu and Terano Fuji versus Hiradoumi.
Don't forget to mention Taka Keisho on his first day into this tournament. Everyone's worried about him. Will he get himself out of Kadoban? He lost on the very first day, and he looked a bit unpracticed up against Meisei. I'm not going to say that that's the case for the rest of the tournament, but I was like, okay, not a great way to start.
Yeah, he was on the defense the whole time.
Yeah.
Never once on the offense.
Yeah.
And actually, my notes say injury. I bet that injury is still troubling him.
Oh, I know it is.
Is what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
But let's go to two guys that don't seem injured and so are therefore way more fun to watch. Atami Fuji versus Hoshoryu. This was a longer match, and there was a long time where these guys had hands on each other's belts. And Atami Fuji just simply did not let Hoshoryu do any funny business at all. Hoshoryu tried some leg trips, he tried some twists away so that he could throw, and Atami Fuji just stayed close, low, and so stable. He just blocked Hoshoryu's every move and solidly won that match. I was so impressed
me too.
by that kid's response. So well done, Atami Fuji. Last fight of the day I want to mention, only because it's a question mark. Terunofuji, day one, he's here. He hasn't been here the last couple of Basho for the whole time. We don't know how he's going to do. He's injured. His knees. We all know that. He's been injured in a lot of different places. So on day one, he's meeting Hira Doumi. I should say on day one, he met Hira Doumi, and it was as if he showed up and said, "You can try all your tricks, kid. I'm going to block him. I'm going to break your grip. I'm going to be immovable. I'll squeeze your arms in tight so you can't do anything. Okay, I'll reach over you. I'll grab your belt from the back so you can't go anywhere. I'm not going to let you go anywhere but out." And that is what happened. Terunofuji won it. I loved it. I thought he looked strong.
He looked great.
Hira Doumi can move laterally so fast.
And he's so flexible. He is a handful.
Yes. So I loved that dominant win, and I loved day one. But a good jump split line would improve the day.
That's true. Day two, oddly, we did not have any jump splits. So a disappointment in that way.
Yes.
But otherwise, day two was fun.
Yeah.
Wakataka Kage report, he defeated Roga decisively.
And that must have felt good.
He just got that grip he wanted and then just all strength and just rushed Roga back into the edge and out. It was an Oshidashi win for Wakataka Kage. Easy peasy. Asanoyama versus Hokuto Fuji, the same sort of thing, except Hokuto Fuji put up a little bit more of a fight. It was an epic tachi by both guys. They both look strong, but Asanoyama is back in good form, looking like he's kind of in control for most of it. He had been pushed back up into, both of them kind of had been pushed and rushed back to the edge at least 3 times each. Hokuto Fuji managed to resist quite well. On the third attempt, he couldn't resist anymore, and Asanoyama had the double inside grip at that point. He lifted up, pressed Hokuto Fuji backwards, and denied any lateral movement. He just nudged him over the bales. I mention this because I'm always on an Asanoyama watch, and I think he looked good. He looked confident. He looked like his brain was working to really pivot and figure out what to do in the moments when he was on the defense. He turned it around and quickly got on the offense, and he's looking good.
To go backwards a little bit, did you see the Wakataka Kage interview after his win on day 2?
Yes, emotionless. Yes. Completely emotionless. Yes. I was like, oh my God, get this guy like a personality coach. I still love him, but he is pretty boring.
And I just loved how stock his answers were. Didn't even matter what questions they asked him.
In fact, the first question, I don't even remember what it was. He just didn't answer it.
Yeah,
he was just like, no or yes.
I did my brand of sumo.
Yeah. Anyway. But let's talk about actually the most fun match of the day, which was Ura versus Gonoyama.
Yeah.
Oh, this match. It was so freaking clever. It was a big tachi by Gonoyama. He's looking stronger, but Ura is always so low. And if you don't try to meet him there, he will cleverly do something that will throw you. Well, he did just that. Ura and Gonoyama exchanged some big blows. Both men were equally sent backwards and then recovered. Ura hopped huge and did like a quarter, like around the doyo sort of hop, and got rushed back to the edge by Gonoyama's forward charge. And Gonoyama thought he had him at that point. And then Ura just decided to duck, and Gonoyama's arms hit complete air. It reminded me of like all my days playing basketball in junior high, just throwing that ball up and just not even hitting the net or the hoop, anything. It was terrible. And so Ura was so low at this point. He just like got double inside, lifted like both his arms right around, reaching to the back of Gonayama's belt and walked him across the circle. It was hilarious. It was a yorikiri frontal force out. Ura won it, and it was just so delightful to see Gonayama picked up.
It was his face. It was Gonayama's face.
Yeah.
That reaction.
Well, and I have been in that position by you. I mean, there was probably a time you and our older sister lifted me up and carried me somewhere to get me out of a room. And I was like, I know how that feels. Not so good. So after that, we find out that Takayasu, Abi got the free win, the freebie, because Takayasu tore his left pectoral muscle up against Kirishima the day before. And that's why he stopped cold in the middle of the doyo. I guess he felt something pop. I don't know.
Yeah, where he was holding it, it must have popped off from his sternum.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just hope he can hold his sweet children.
Oh, I know. Because he had his hand like right over like the top of his belly.
Yeah.
Like right in the center there.
Yeah,
So
I thought, well, it was on one side. I thought maybe he's feeling his rib. And turns out it was his pec, which would be quite shocking to all of a sudden just tear. Kirishima versus Mitakayumi. Kirishima tries a shallow grip on Mitakayumi because he got in lower and had the advantage. He didn't like it, so then he changed his grip, though. And then he did that kind of like, Kirishima did that kind of kakaru butt out hold. You know, kakaru did that a lot. He would have his butt kind of out and his back leg like straight. So it's like a door stopper. And that stops the opponent from charging or moving for some reason. And I don't know if he's learned that from Kakaru, but it worked because it stopped Mitakayumi from successfully charging because he has more weight. He has more power. Kirishima then at that moment bettered his grip with the Mayamitsu grip, which is the right hand inside left hand outside of Mitakayumi, and waited. He just waited for Mitakayumi to run out of patience and make a move. And when that happened, Kirishima attacked and then lifted up on Mitakayumi, who was too up high at this point to fight back. And Kirishima used that energy to just move him back and out. It was a yorikiri win for Kirishima. So he's looking good. All of us are a little worried. He's not going to get his 10 wins that he needs to recover his Ozeki status. So he's looking good. Oh, there were so many fights today. Wakamoto Haru versus Onosato.
I love this one.
I had to watch it again because I just couldn't believe it. Onosato had an amazing tachi that sent Wakamoto Haru just reeling backwards, stumbling to the edge, and with so much momentum, I had no idea how he stopped, but he stopped himself somehow. Wakamoto Haru, somehow struggling to get a hold, got inside on Onosato at the edge, and got the right outside, left inside deep grip and wedged himself. He then, somehow, with incredible strength, charged back like a bull on Onosato and somehow turned him sort of sideways. Or Onosato mistakenly turned himself with his right arm. He had his right arm up in the air because Wakamoto was like paralyzing him with that move right under his right shoulder with this grip. Onosato gets rushed back to the edge, swings away, hoping Wakamoto Haru will fall down with his own momentum and will throw himself out. But it is not before Onosato also went out. They both fly them. I didn't say that right. But what I'm trying to say is that the momentum Wakamoto Haru had kind of flung himself out of the ring. But Onosato also was with that same momentum flying out of the ring. And he went down and it was so close. But you could see that Onosato his hand hit the dirt first.
Such strength from both of these men. It was incredible.
I feel like Onosato, whenever you win a Yusho, lots of times they come back and they struggle. They've had a lot of parties to go to. But it's also that I think he's a new guy, right? These guys have now had enough time to sort of figure him out. And I think like Atami Fuji, it happened the same way. They kind of skyrocket in. No one knows what to do. They have so much momentum. They're the new kid on the block. And then the other guys start to be like, oh, okay, I'm not afraid of this new kid anymore. And they start to figure him out. And I think that's what Wakamoto Haru kind of did in this. He's like, I'm not afraid of this kid. I got it. Oh, Atami Fuji versus Koto Zakura. I just have too many matches to mention.
I know. They're all so good.
It was an equal epic blast by both men up top. Koto Zakura gets inside, tries his best to lift up on Atami Fuji. Atami Fuji fights hard, though, and he clamps down on that inside grip with that vice grip like Terunofuji does. Kotozakura tries to advance on him in that position, but Atamifuji is too strong. Kotozakura then fights off this vice grip and inches back on Atamifuji, but without much gain. So it's kind of, all in all this to say, this is kind of an even match. Atamifuji hops back, and there's a Hataki Komi attempt, but Kotozakura sees it. He's upright, he's grounded, it does no good. And basically it's this push and pull and push and pull. Eventually, Kotozakura sneaks into the side with his best defensive moves. Atamifuji does a huge blast back on Kotozakura right as he's at the push to the edge. That kind of blast would break most people's ribs. And when he did that, Kotozakura grabbed the right upper arm of Atamifuji and turned him to face him, got a quick double inside grip, and pushed him out. That match gave me my money's worth. Both had so much strength. Atamifuji has so much spirit, but Kotozakura has the brains and the experience from being up there for so long that he knew what to do at the bitter end of this move that most guys would be panicked by. Atamifuji gave a hell of a fight, but it was a Yorikiri win for Kotozakura. Daisho Takakeisho, I always love this matchup. It ended up being a Hataki Komi win for Takakeisho because Daisho just hit the dirt on his belly.
I was surprised in this match for a couple of pusher thrusters how little pushing there was.
Yeah, I think Takakeisho is clearly injured. Yeah. They're friends. They know that. So Takakeisho had to figure out another way to beat him. And I think he knows that Daisho has consistently fallen apart whenever he's excited, trying to finish somebody off, and he finds himself with the poor footwork too far forward, and Takakeisho saw that, and he it was a hand pull down, Hitaki Komi, I believe, or a slap down, something like that. When he was like,
"Sorry, buddy, I know you're my friend, but you're making the same mistake."
Yep. So he seized on it. Hiradeumi rocketed at Hoshoryu, Hoshoryu hopped to the side. It was kind of like a hit and shift Hanka thing, but I think it was actually probably intended to be a Hanka by Hoshoryu, but Hiradeumi was so fast out of the gate that he actually hit Hoshoryu before Hoshoryu could Hanka. It was crazy fast. It was truly amazing. Hiradeumi is such a fighter and so fast. Hiradeumi does some suppari and Hoshoryu stays steady. He tries for a couple of grips, but Hiradeumi just swats them away. So Hoshoryu just charges and Hiradeumi tries to escape sideways, but Hoshoryu denied that. So it was an Oshidashi frontal push-out win for Hoshoryu, just proving Hiradeumi is just a lot to handle. But he can be beat. Yokozuna versus Meisei. Last time Meisei won, he has kind of Terunofuji's number, but this time Terunofuji remembered that and he came out hard and fast, and Meisei had absolutely no answer. Terunofuji looked like a flash, and he looked uninjured uninjured in this match. I was like, the guy's back. I mean, their eyes, they can't believe what they're seeing. He Tachi-eyed hard, and then he just rushed quickly. Wow, it was so definitive for Terunofuji, and it was a Yorikiri win. And day 2 was like so exciting to me.
Yeah, me too. I absolutely love day 2. Day 3, quickly mention a fight up top. Nishikifuji versus Kagayaki. Now, Kagayaki, who I have absolutely learned to love since his debut as a karaoke singer. Yeah, I absolutely love the man now. He rushed in and he pushed Nishikifuji back. And Nishikifuji spun 360 degrees. A move that does not always work.
It never works. It
rarely works. However,
97% of the time, it does not work.
Right? But this time, it did work. He spun out of Kagayaki's way. I don't know if Kagayaki just wasn't watching or what, but he spun out of the way and he spun right into Nishikifuji's favorite grip. And then Nishikifuji just took Kagayaki right over the edge. I mention it only for the 360 spin.
Yeah.
Because it's just delightful to see it work.
Yeah. Worked once.
So many people try it and it doesn't. Asanayama versus Mr. Churros. Who, Mr. Churros tried it all.
He did.
Churro no Umi, that's his ring name.
But we call him Churros.
Mr. Churros. He tried it all. He tried a lateral move. I won't even mention all the things he tried, but Asanayama smothered every single trick, did not let Mr. Churros move laterally at all. He glued his chest to Mr. Churros. and just walked him out.
They catfished him. I call him the catfish, Asanoyama, because he looks like a catfish fighting on a line. When you've like hooked a fish and they fight like a big old catfish.
Yeah.
The thrashes side to side, like he can handle anything, and he will, like a big old catfish, walk you to the
Which is
water
amazing,
and out.
considering his knee injury.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It's as if he is singularly focused on not letting people move too far laterally, or else it's going to hurt his own knee or something.
Yeah.
He just like smothers them. I'm going to keep you in my lane.
But he does it with his upper body.
I'm going to give you one choice.
Yeah.
Backwards. That's your one choice. You can't move this way, you can't move that way,
Yeah.
can't move up, down, only backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful. Really fun fight of the day. Shodai versus Midori Fuji. Super fun. They got locked up. Kind of arms akimbo. Midori Fuji was like trying
Arms
to reach.
akimbo.
Yeah.
What's akimbo?
Akimbo?
Like
it's
a
like
skew?
askew. Yeah. Arms
Oh.
askew. Midori Fuji like trying, okay, I'll try for the kata sakashi. Oh, I can't get that. I'll try double inside. Oh, that's not really working. Until Shodai was just kind of like, okay, you want to go double inside? I'm going to reach both arms over you. I'm going to grab your belt from the back.
You can have a nice close sniff of my armpit as well.
Yeah, but I'm not going to let you pull me to the ground. But oh my God, you're moving so much that I can't really get you up off the ground.
Right.
Because you're coming into my own chest. So,
He'd had
enough. I'm going to spin while I'm holding the back of your belt. And so he swung around and Midori Fuji just kind of ran out of ring space and went out first. But it was pure entertainment.
Yeah, I was like, this is the awkwardest of positions these two have found themselves in. It looked like Twister.
It was awesome.
But hey, it worked for Shodai. And I'm always cheering him on because I don't know if he really cares. He just likes to just have fun doing a little sumo day to day.
It's great. Tamawashi lost by Hikiotoshi, and I mention this only because we were watching this day of sumo with our father, who
rarely watches.
But
also he's low vision.
He's low vision and can't hear so well.
And his response was, these guys are just so big, how could you miss them?
Yes.
So even low vision, it's a great sport for our low vision friends.
Tamawashi lost by Hikiotoshi, and our father went, he lost by nuclear thrushy? So...
Which I imagine it probably feels like that on the other.
Probably does feel like a nuclear thrushy.
Right. But that's also a taste of our very Texan father. Lord, got him by nuclear thrushy?
Yep. Okay, it's worth mentioning that Onosato found his way to his first win, this time against Daisho on day 3. It was a simple slap down, but I bet that felt good after losing the first 2 days.
Yeah.
So well done, Onosato. Kirishima met Gonoyama. Kirishima stopped Gonoyama's pushes really well, and he dug in right at the edge of the Tuara, with your feet really hanging on and your body sort of bananaing to the center of the ring, trying to stay in. And he sort of pushed Gonoyama back. They locked up. They got some belt grips. He was at the edge. They kind of shuffled around. Basically, long story short, it ended up they were both at the edge. They had each other's belt. And Gonoyama does have... He's not the belt man that Kirishima is, but he has some skill. Yeah. I think they said today that he started sumo as a belt guy, which I didn't realize.
Yeah.
And he's sort of become a pusher thruster. So, but you could tell they got locked up and they were sort of maneuvering towards the edge of the ring, and you could see, okay, he definitely has the sense of someone who's done some belt sumo. Like he's very aware of where his hips are and where they're leaning. So they ended up trying a throw on each other. It looked like they were going to go out at the same time. Kirishima kind of leaned in, twisted, and Gonoyama went down first. Mention it only because Kirishima, by day 3, I'm thinking he is looking every inch of his old Ozeki self.
Yeah, and I had missed that for 2 tournaments. I was like, where is Kirishima? I forgot what he looked like when he was wrestling well, and I'm starting to see it again.
Yeah, stable, strong, fast, reactive, just a million different weapons that he could choose from. And it's great to see this guy back. And it's looking really good, day 3.
Yeah.
Atami Fuji versus Takakeisho. Takakeisho almost had Atama Fuji out. He had a Tamifuji kind of to the side. All it was going to take was one push from the side, but Takakeisho missed that last push. It just sort of deflected off of a Tamifuji. Instead,
and I think it looked like he lost gripping on one of his feet in that last move.
There was a slip involved.
There was a slip.
Somewhere.
There was like a 1-2 slip.
Yeah.
And then he just went down like toast.
So
which is not a phrase.
Fuji reacted.
I made that up.
Atami Fuji reacted by getting in and under and pushing Takakeisho out, not only just out, but flat on his back.
Bohonkus.
Yeah, flat on it. His would be a bohonkus, wouldn't it?
Yeah, which again is
yeah.
a Texan term for a butt. I don't know if it's Texan unique, but
it is a bohonkus.
A bohonkus
Takakeisho
is
bohonkus.
There's a number of real choice Texan things we've said in this episode today.
See?
Sometimes I'm like, I'm not really Texan. I don't feel like I've been, I lived in New York and LA for so many years. And then, it
come out with a term like,
and then
cootie smash.
Yeah, cooter smash or bohonkus that I'm like, no, I'm clearly from this place.
Clearly Texan.
And the fact that I knew what a catfish on a line looks like also.
We talk about fishing and cheerleading.
Yeah.
Yeah, and gymnastics. We're just Southern through and through. Last match of the day. This'll be fast. Terunofuji versus Wakamoto Haru. Terunofuji just plowed into Wakamoto Haru.
Yeah, I think Dad was like, whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
It is like watching football sometimes.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh my God, he just obliterated that guy.
Yeah.
And that is what happened.
It
Wakamoto
was.
Haru just could not recover from all of the man coming at him. It was pure 100% Yokozuna. And it's just delightful. That's my Barry White of the day. All right. And so that's it. That is the end of day 3. I'm absolutely loving it. Love seeing these guys back. Hope you are too.
If you're there, send us some pictures. We always love to see it. We will be back at you next week with days 4 through 10. Okay. Until then, I am Leslie.
I'm Laurie. See y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, mata.
Mata raishu.